It is 2021, and all factions can fly any ship as long as they have it unlocked, as in purchasing cross-faction flying in the C-Store for 2000 Zen, or leveling a KDF character to level 65, which is arguably the better option unless you have no time, are lazy, or for some reason hate the KDF. So then comes the question, what differences do the factions now provide, now that every ship can be flown by any faction? So let's put visual and auditory differences aside for now, and start with stats and performance, which I'm sure many of you likely care about. As covered by previous videos and many guides, members of the Romulan Republic are the undisputed kings of space combat, all other things being equal. This is due to them being able to have every single bridge officer station filled with the superior Romulan operative space trait, which is an exclusive feature to them. No other faction can have all of their bridge officer stations filled with this. The trait gives 2% critical chance, 5% critical severity, and 15% power recharge speed for cloaking. With all 5 stations filled on a Tier 6 or Tier 5 ship, that adds up to 10% critical chance, 25% critical severity, and 8 seconds off your total cloak recharge. While not all ships have a cloak, those increases to critical stats, no pun intended, are significant enough to vastly increase your damage performance. Now, if you're going for another type of build, such as a tanking build or maybe a support build, you might want to go with the leadership trait, found on humans, Kentari, and Lucari. But those are also accessible to Romulans, or any faction for that matter, except KDF allied characters will have a slightly harder time because they cannot have a full crew of humans, and if they want to have this trait, they will have to buy Kentari and Lucari bridge officers, which are pretty expensive. You can learn more about bridge officer space traits in my video about them, which I will link to a card right now. As for ground combat, any faction is fine as most of the traits are relatively negligible to performance, but of course, Estio combines both space and ground, so go for the Romulan Republic if you care about having the top combat performance potential. Now, moving on to species trait. Starting from a performance standpoint again, choosing Alien is best, as they have one extra personal trait. And that means you can slot many of the custom traits that are available in the game, whereas specific species will usually have an exclusive built-in trait, with some having pretty unique effects. In addition, some species have traits that can be slotted. So, for example, in Starfleet and KDF respectively, you have the Caitians and the Pharasans, and they have a 75% higher jump height compared to every other species. Humans, as mentioned, can repair subsistence systems and hull regeneration faster, and the Gorn have the highest damage potential for melee combat, with a 17.5 increase to melee damage. Now, back to faction choice. So there are 2 factions where you cannot choose Alien as a species, Dominion and TOS Starfleet. So if you create a character from these 2 factions, which should you choose? Well, for Dominion, the Jem'Hadar Vanguard is superior to the regular Jem'Hadar in every respect, as they have a space trait that increases damage, whereas the Jem'Hadar don't have this, and they also have extra facial and hair customization options, which again are exclusive to them. But of course, you also need to buy them, so there's that. Dominion characters also start at level 60, but it is definitely recommended for you to be well versed in STO gameplay first, as its tutorial does not teach you much at all. As for TOS Starfleet, Humans are the only ones with a species-specific space trait as mentioned, but the others have their own unique ground traits. For example, Andorians do more damage the less health they have. Tellarites are more resistant to placate, confusion, and hold effects, and Vulcans are better at melee damage. And they also have the nerve pinch and mind meld. So really, it's up to you in this case. Alright, so we've covered stats, performance, and species. Now let's talk about visual and auditory differences, as you can hear from me clicking on the different factions. So KDF has red beaming and warp effects. Discovery has the blue popping warp and bright lens flary yellow beaming. Dominion has the bluish purple beaming and purple warp. TOS Starfleet has the white warp trails and grainy yellow beaming. The Republic has green warp trails and beaming. And regular Starfleet has blue beaming and warp trails. Of course, each also has its own accompanying sound effect. Each faction also has unique effects for scanning, CPR, engine sounds, etc. They also have unique UI shapes, as seen, but the UI color can also be customized to an extent. As for uniforms, this will be split between the two major factions being KDF and Starfleet. Depending on which side you're allied with, so for Dominion and Republic, at some point during the story you will have to choose your faction, whereas Discovery Starfleet and TOS Starfleet will be brought up to the correct, or in this case, the timeline that STO takes place in 2409 to start you off. And also, there's currently a bug for remans. They can't wear the uniform of their faction of which they ally with. And at the time of this recording, this is still not fixed. So please, if anyone from Cryptic is watching this, please get that fixed as soon as possible. Finally, what I consider the less impactful differences between the factions. Faction leader, faction-specific episodes. Of course, if you want to experience the full STO story, do make one character for each faction to be able to experience their part of the story. And also the one who announces you leveling up or gaining a specialization point. You'll meet your faction leader as you play your faction-specific episodes, so I won't spoil that for you. As for leveling up, the one who announces your level increase for TOS Starfleet and 24-9 Starfleet is Spock. Martok announces for KDF, Lorca for Discovery, Odo for Dominion, and Sela for the Romulan Republic. For some reason. I mean, she is one of your enemies over the majority of the storyline, so it's a bit weird. So that's all the major differences between the factions. Basically, if you care about performance, play the Romulan Republic. Otherwise, choose your faction based on visuals they come with, the species you want, and or their exclusive story episodes, but as I mentioned, if you want the full story of STO, play one of each faction. Also, sometimes there's a recruitment event, and at the time of this recording, there is one right now. Which in that case, you will have to choose the faction in which that event is happening. So right now, it is the Jem'Hadar recruitment event, and you can only create a character to participate in this event if you choose Dominion. So yeah, choose accordingly when that happens. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. And according to analytics, less than 20% of you who watch my videos are actually subscribed to me, so if you haven't smashed that subscribe button yet, please do so. And also ring that notification bell to be notified of future videos if you care about that. And also, it really supports my channel. You can also contribute to my Patreon, link in this description, where you also find my link to membership and my Discord server where you can speak to fans and myself directly. Again, thank you very much for watching. See you all next time. Bye!